Well, Doctor, you've got these simple steps and they're interesting, very interesting. We left before the break with talking about talking and talking about the important things.
What I found from these couples in my study is that the happy couples actually knew each other very intimately. And they knew 4 topics about each other. They knew their best friends, they knew the stressors or what keeps them or kept them up at night. They knew their goals for what they wanted to do in their life 5 or 10 years from now. And they knew their basic values about religion and politics. And so what I encourage couples to do in order to take your marriage from good to great is spend time talking at least 10 minutes every single day about something other than work, family, or who's going to do what around the house. So what you want to do is sit down and ask a question. And you can ask a question about those 4 topics that were so very important to the happy couples in my study. Or you can talk about what you were most proud of, what you regret doing in life, any topic that asks or gets you talking about something other than work, family, and who's going to do what around the house. And that's where you can learn some really interesting and new information about your spouse by asking them, what have they wanted to do that we haven't done or you haven't done in your life, or what do you want to do next year, or when you retire, or in the next 10 years, and you find out some wonderful, wonderful information.
So we've covered already, have realistic expectations, say and do nice things, such common golden rule kind of things, and then third, that 10-minute rule daily to communicate about these issues.
Because what I really found, Greg, is that you need to sweat the small stuff. It's not what we've been taught. We really think that these big issues are going to affect our marriages. But what I found is that when people have these big challenges, they actually come back and lean on one another. And they get closer and more connected. It's the seemingly everyday challenges, like we don't talk, you don't pay attention to me, we aren't kind or respectful to one another, that add up or accumulate over time, and that's what eats away at the happiness and tears couples apart.
And that 4th one was taking risks to eliminate sort of the boredom or the humdrum of every day. So how do you keep things fresh as a senior in a marriage that's gone on and on and on?
On and on. Well, what I say is that all relationships have what we call ruts. And as you described it very well, it's sort of boring, it's been there, it's so-so. So it's okay to have some ruts. It's if the rut stays on, or if you can't get out of the rut.
So I don't have to be worried if I'm in a rut.
You don't have to be worried that you're in a rut, because all relationships have times.
So get us out of the rut. How do we get out of the rut?
So how do you get out of the rut? You need to shake it up a little bit. You need to get a little spice.
Rock it back and forth like the car.
Into it, right? Well, you need to sort of push your partner out of the rut. So if you think of a train track, you want to go off the tracks a little bit. For example,
there we go.
You want to do something new in your relationship, and that can be take a cooking class together, that can be go to a new restaurant, it can even be take your spouse on a little treasure hunt around the city. And what I encourage them to think about is that take control yourself, do the change, make the change, start the new activity, and you will find that he will come and change as well. You motivate your spouse to change when you change yourself. And that has happened time and time again with couples I see in therapy, as well as the couples in my long-term study. So sign up for a class, sign you both up, and just go to the class. And you'll find, lo and behold, that he gets motivated. He gets motivated by your motivation. What I find is that couples forget, because they're so concerned about, providing an income and making sure the children or grandchildren are okay. They forget that relationships are supposed to be about fun. You need to grow. You need to laugh. Those 2 things, fun and laughter, actually add the spice also to your relationship.
And no matter what age or how long you've been married?
No matter what age and no matter how long you've been married. What I have found is that when you do an arousal-producing activity, like exercise, you see a scary movie, you go on a roller coaster ride, any activity that gets your adrenaline going. As long as you do it with your partner or spouse, you can actually transfer the arousal to your relationship. So go on a roller coaster ride, exercise together. That was an activity that the couples in my study talked about time and time again. If they did it with their spouse, they actually increased passion and sexuality as well. It's a great way to add that little extra romance and a little excitement to your relationship. You need to have 5 positive experiences with your spouse for every 1 negative experience. So it's okay to have some costly behaviors. You don't like his socks on the floor, to go back to an example. As long as you can come up with 5 good behaviors or good experiences, that one will not erode the happiness or the stability in your relationship. So it's a 5-to-1 ratio.
So what if I'm out of ratio?
Well, then you want to work on that costly behavior that's getting you out of balance. So if you have 5 costly behaviors and 5 positive behaviors, pick 4 of the costly behaviors and work on them with your spouse. And in the book, I talk about the 6 very common costly behaviors, at least according to the couples in my study, and how to address those, how to get out of that negativity.